here we go. Hour 2. This is The Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, we're on iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. Mark Anthony Green, GQ writer, just stopped by if you tuned in. Interesting stuff. He's got a GQ magazine article on Odell Beckham, which, as I said, I think the fascinating thing about Odell Beckham in Cleveland is Jarvis Landry, who is a Pro Bowler, who is great, who has 90 catches a year. And if you read the article, there's a lot of aspirational goals for Odell Beckham. I don't think he can reach him, at least the production standpoint, because he's got too great of a player next to him. If you have a Pro Bowl wide receiver who catches 90 balls a year next to you, and the best tight end and great running backs, it's going to be hard to reach those production goals. I think that's going to be a challenge for Baker Mayfield. Maybe he can pull it off. He's an accurate thrower of the football. But anyway, I want to thank Mark Anthony Green, who wasn't scheduled but said, yeah, I'll stay and stop by and talk, and it was great. Joy Taylor joining me. Every Monday we do something. You know what it's called, Joy.
Where Colin was right, where Colin was wrong.
Plenty of both. So here we go to Monday. Plenty of both this week. Here we go.
Where Colin was right.
Ezekiel Elliott is in the news again this morning, quote, making plans to leave the country amid his contract holdout. Listen, I like my running backs to be elusive, not this elusive. He's out of the country. I'll say it again. I've always questioned judgment, not talent, not love for football. Why is this story getting out? It's right before training camp. It looks like it was time to be right before training camp, to be very disrupted for a football team that is loaded with talent, but in a division with Philadelphia cannot be distracted. This is my question about Zeke, his judgment. Clearly, they wanted this story out there right before camp, holding out with 2 years left in his contract. Said it last week, and I'll say it again. Despite his talent, I think you can get a haul of picks and some good players for him. I would move him. I know it sounds counterintuitive to move the best player at his position, but it happens all the time in football. This is not the NBA. You can win a lot of games with a B running back if you have the Cowboys line, if you have the Cowboys defense. That's where I'd go with it.
Where Colin was wrong.
Manny Pacquiao not only beat Keith Thurman, he completely controlled the fight. If you would have told me Manny Pacquiao was going to knock out Thurman in the first round, I would have bet $1 million, and he did. Listen, styles make fights. Manny's style was a nightmare for Thurman, and you could tell about halfway through the first round. Thurman didn't move his feet, at least didn't plan on it for the first 3 rounds, as Manny dominated the first 3 to 4 rounds, scoring effectively, going right after him. Listen, Thurman had a good 7th round and did win a few rounds, and as the fight wore on, he landed some punches to Pacquiao. But as old as Manny looked against Mayweather, he looked like the youngest 40-year-old boxer in the history of the sport. Thurman's sort of lethargic, plodding, hunting style worked perfectly for the volume puncher and scorer Manny Pacquiao. Won the fight convincingly. I have no idea how one judge had Keith Thurman winning it, split decision. I thought Manny won by 4 rounds.
Where Colin was right.
Amazon series All or Nothing. Cameras around Cam Newton all last year in the Carolina Panthers. Oh, Lord. He is the opposite of Tom Brady. Tom Brady is obsessed with football. In this series, I don't think I ever saw Cam talking about football. He's got a music guru. Tom's got a kale pajamas guru. Whereas Brady is totally consumed with football, and it's hard to even find frames of Tom versus Time that aren't about football. It was hard to find moments when Cam wasn't talking about music, had a cigar in his mouth, eating junk food. As far as committed to the sport, Tom is, and Cam, I mean, it's hard to get around it. Tom has kale ice cream. Cam had junk food, cigars. If you love Cam, you'll love him more. If you are a person like me who has always questioned his commitment to it, boy, you came out of that thing going, Lord. Cam is exactly what, through the years, sources have told me. He's not a bad teammate. That's not the point. But he is a distracted quarterback in a world where it has become an 11-and-a-half-month sport.
Where Colin was wrong.
The Miami Heat are not even now interested in Chris Paul. I thought that was the obvious one. They could put some jet fuel with draft picks, get Chris Paul for a couple years. In fact, a story broke this weekend that the Miami Heat were more interested in Westbrook's awful contract than Chris Paul. Listen, in 2019, he's too much drama. He doesn't get along with other star players, and he's too damn expensive. He's still a 15-8 player, but his field goal numbers went down. His ability to dominate defensively is not as good. I thought Miami was a perfect landing spot for him, but the story's now breaking. They would have taken Westbrook over Chris Paul. Wrong on that.
Where Colin was right.
But Tobias Harris of the Sixers admitted this weekend, talking to Marcus Hayes of the Philadelphia Inquirer, yeah, I felt underutilized last year. The pieces didn't really fit. This is what we said last year with Philadelphia. It was the second best roster in the NBA, but it didn't work. Simmons and Embiid don't play well together. Butler's really talented, but if you put him with Tobias Harris, who's getting the shots at the end of games? Tobias Harris was honest. He said what we said all year. It just didn't work. That's why Redick's not there. That's why Butler's not there. I'm not convinced Ben Simmons long-term will be there, but I did appreciate what Tobias Harris said is, I was underutilized. The coaching staff admits the pieces didn't fit, and I was underutilized. And this is what we thought the Sixers were all year. Really talented, but didn't have the chemistry to beat a Milwaukee, beat a Golden State, beat top teams in the NBA.
Where Colin was wrong.
Pro Football Focus ranked all the NFL quarterbacks entering this year. And they had Brady 1 and Breeze 2 and Andrew Luck 5 and Russell Wilson 6. Those are all my guys. And they had Baker Mayfield 10. What? They had Baker Mayfield in the top 10. What? Off his 1-5 record against winning teams? Or off his 6-7 overall record? Or off his 14 interceptions? Top 10 already? And I like Pro Football Focus. They're almost never wrong. And they have all the guys I like up there. Yeah. Maybe I'll have to unsubscribe. I top 10 already off that year. All right.
Where Colin was right.
Remember I always say in baseball, the really smart teams do not sign these players to 10-year contracts. It's just dumb business. Well, the Dodgers GM, Andrew Friedman's a smart guy. The Dodgers have won their division 6 straight years. There are currently 16 games out in front. And Andrew Friedman, one of baseball's keenest intellects, came out this week and he says, yes, we always feel pressure to make a deal and improve our team. We have to balance that with not being stupid. That is a direct shot at the owner of the Phillies, John Middleton, the majority owner, who said last year in free agency, you've got to be a little stupid with your money in free agency. The Dodgers GM just took a not-so-thinly veiled shot at the Phillies majority owner saying, yeah, we need to get better in the bullpen, but we're not going to be stupid. Once again, Phillies aren't as well run. Dodgers are exceptionally well run. These 10-year contracts are bad business. They don't work. The Phillies are in third place. Bryce Harper leads the league in strikeouts, although he's still a good 255, 260 hitter with power. I like Bryce Harper, but this deal has gone not nearly as well as they thought for the team or for Bryce.
Where Colin was wrong.
Last week, I protested coffee shops for their exorbitant fees. I said I would never go to one the rest of my life. Here I was. I'm spending $450, $500 a month. I can make this stuff at home. And I said, that's it, I'm done. I'm never buying coffee at a coffee shop again. And then I started doing it in my head. I'm going to spend $30,000 if I live a normal life drinking coffee I can make at home. That's a new car. What am I doing with my life? You can hold me accountable. I'm never going to a coffee shop again. Okay, I said that Monday, and by Thursday, Joyce came into the meeting and said, what's that Pete's Coffee thing? I am so stuck in my habit that I bought another coffee. And by the way, I blame Skip Bayless and Shannon because they took the week off.
I'm pretty sure there was coffee in the break room where I make tea every morning.
30 steps away. And forcing me to have to go to a coffee shop. This is like doing a New Year's resolution and January 4th, you blow it up.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why those generally don't work. You can't get anything past a woman, Colin. You got to know that by now.
Oh, I do.
Where Colin was right.
Been saying for years, stop whining about NBA players getting together. It's what they do at AAU. It's what they do at college basketball. Why always ripping NBA guys for it? All you Duke fans and Carolina fans, you love when all the stars join your team. Well, what do you know? A pair of 5-star recruits are going to join Bronny James Jr. at Sierra Canyon.